Have you ever stopped and asked yourself what life might feel like if you grow old, alone? It's a quiet fear many of us carry but rarely talk about. Maybe the house gets quieter, the phone rings less, and suddenly the days feel longer than they used to. As someone who's worked with older women across the country for decades, I've seen this moment come for many, often unexpectedly, when loved ones move away, when friendships fade, or when routines shift after retirement. But here's what I want you to know. Aging alone does not mean aging in sadness. It doesn't mean being forgotten or living without joy. In fact, it can be a beautiful, powerful chapter of life if you choose to make it so. In this video, I'll walk you through 6 simple, life-giving things you can do every single day to stay happy, mentally sharp, emotionally balanced, and deeply connected to life, even if no one else is living under your roof. These aren't just habits, they're lifelines. So, if you've ever feared growing older alone, I invite you to stay with me. What you hear today might just change how you live tomorrow. Number 1. Establish a daily routine. One of the most overlooked challenges of aging, especially for those living alone, is the slow loss of daily structure. Without work schedules, kids to care for, or a partner to coordinate with, time starts to stretch and blur. You wake up without a plan, the hours drift by, and before you know it, another day has passed with little meaning or movement. This lack of structure may seem harmless at first, but over time, it can quietly chip away at your motivation, your clarity of mind, and even your emotional health. A day without purpose can easily become a week, then a month, and that's when feelings of boredom and loneliness start to settle in. As a geriatric health advisor, I've seen how quickly this cycle can develop. When people retire or lose their partners, they often underestimate how much the rhythm of daily life had kept them emotionally grounded. The brain thrives on routine. It doesn't need to be packed with errands or busyness, but it does need flow, regularity, predictability. Having even a gentle structure gives your body and mind cues to stay sharp, alert, and emotionally balanced. Let me tell you about someone who reminded me just how powerful this shift can be. Her name is Evelyn, a 74-year-old former high school music teacher who lost her husband a few years ago. She spent months in what she called gray time, days without a beginning or end. Meals became irregular, TV filled the hours, and sleep patterns broke down. She said she started feeling like she was disappearing. When we spoke, I encouraged her to try a simple daily routine, not a rigid schedule, but a pattern that gently guided her through the day. She began waking up at the same time, opening the windows, doing light stretches to her favorite music, and making herself a proper breakfast again. Later, she would schedule a walk or a puzzle game in the afternoon, and she set aside time to call one of her grandchildren at least twice a week. Within a month, Evelyn told me she felt like someone had turned the lights back on in her life. The science backs it up. Maintaining daily rhythms is linked to better sleep, improved cognition, and a stronger sense of self-worth. A routine reduces stress by eliminating constant decision-making and adds a sense of control, which becomes even more important as we age. So if your days have started to feel shapeless, I urge you to take the first small step. A warm cup of tea at the same hour, a morning walk, even watering the plants at noon. These things matter. Because structure isn't just about time, it's about life having shape, purpose, and meaning again. Number 2, prioritize physical movement. We do not stop exercising because we grow old. We grow old because we stop exercising. That quote, often attributed to Dr. Kenneth Cooper, the father of aerobic exercise, holds more truth than most people realize. As we age, one of the most damaging mistakes we can make is slowing down too much, physically and mentally. It's tempting to think rest is best, but too much rest can lead to decline far faster than aging itself. In fact, research from the National Institute on Aging has shown that sedentary older adults lose up to 10% of their muscle mass per decade after the age of 50, which directly impacts balance, strength, and mobility. And it doesn't stop there. According to Harvard Medical School, regular physical activity can reduce the risk of cognitive decline by 30% to 40%, making movement not just a physical, but a mental necessity. The beauty is, Staying active doesn't mean running marathons or going to the gym every day. What your body truly needs is consistent, gentle movement that keeps your joints flexible, your circulation flowing, and your muscles engaged. A short daily walk, a few rounds of chair exercises, stretching by the window with sunlight on your face. These small acts can bring tremendous results over time. Beyond the body, movement stimulates the brain. Every step you take boosts oxygen to your brain and helps regulate the chemicals responsible for mood and memory. It reduces cortisol, the stress hormone, and boosts endorphins, which naturally fight depression and anxiety. That's why studies from the Alzheimer's Society highlight physical activity as one of the most effective non-pharmacological ways to reduce dementia risk. And here's the thing, even limited mobility doesn't disqualify you from benefiting. Water aerobics, seated leg lifts, or simply standing up and sitting down several times a day can be enough to maintain strength and support heart health. The goal isn't perfection, it's persistence. The key is to make movement part of your daily rhythm, just like brushing your teeth or having your morning coffee. When you move regularly, you're not just maintaining your muscles, you're protecting your independence, boosting your mood, and sharpening your mind. So if it's been a while since you've moved much, start today. Just a few minutes, then build on it. Because when you choose movement, you're choosing vitality. And it's never too late to feel stronger, steadier, and more alive, starting right now. If you found these insights valuable, let me know by commenting yes below. Your thoughts matter, and I'd love to hear from you. Number 3, stay socially engaged. One of the most quietly painful parts of aging, especially when you're on your own, is the gradual loss of social connection. It doesn't happen all at once. One day you realize the phone isn't ringing as much. Family gets busy with their lives, friends move away, or sadly, pass on. And in that slow silence, isolation begins to creep in. It often starts unnoticed, just more quiet mornings, more evenings alone. But over time, the emotional impact can be profound. Loneliness isn't just a feeling. It's a real threat to your health. Studies from institutions like the CDC have shown that chronic loneliness increases the risk of heart disease, depression, and even dementia. One meta-analysis from Brigham Young University found that social isolation can be as harmful to health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. That's how powerful connection is, and that's why we cannot afford to treat it as optional. But here's the hopeful truth. While isolation can happen passively, connection is something we can actively build, even later in life. I think about a man I once met named Leonard, a retired piano teacher living in North Carolina. After his wife passed, he fell into a deep routine of solitude, TV, microwave dinners, early bedtimes. He told himself he didn't want to bother his children, but deep down, he felt invisible. Then one day, with a bit of courage, he decided to sign up for a local music appreciation group at his library. It was small, a few chairs, a radio, and some friendly strangers. But that group changed everything. He started looking forward to Wednesdays. From there, he reconnected with an old student, began video calling his sister once a week, and even taught a few Zoom piano lessons for fun. His world opened up again. The lesson is this: staying socially engaged doesn't require grand events or a packed calendar. Sometimes it's as simple as sending a good morning text, joining a local walking group, or chatting with a neighbor about the weather. Even online communities, especially now, can offer real friendships and a sense of purpose. The key is to take that first small step, because connection doesn't just improve your mood, it quite literally helps you live longer, healthier, and more fulfilled. No matter your age or circumstances, you still have something valuable to give and receive. And you're never too old to feel seen, heard, and genuinely connected again. Number 5, practice gratitude and reflection. From an expert's perspective, one of the most essential yet underestimated practices for emotional well-being in later life is the daily habit of gratitude and reflection. As people grow older, they often experience a series of life transitions, losses, changes in health, shifts in roles and routines that can quietly erode their sense of peace and personal fulfillment. It's a vulnerable time, especially for those living alone. What we know from both psychological research and years of clinical experience is this: How you focus your attention each day significantly shapes the quality of your emotional life. It's common for older adults to dwell on what has faded, the people no longer present, the physical strength that has changed, the opportunities that feel like they've passed. While these feelings are natural, staying in that space too long can lead to chronic sadness, irritability, and even health complications. However, when we intentionally redirect our attention, just for a few moments each day, to what is still good, meaningful, or comforting, we begin to shift our emotional landscape. Gratitude, practiced regularly, has been shown to lower cortisol levels, reduce anxiety, and improve overall life satisfaction. It's not about denying hardship. It's about choosing to also notice the light that still exists in the day. Reflection plays a complementary role. It allows the mind to slow down, to process emotion in a healthy way, and to create space for deeper self-awareness. Even 5 minutes of quiet thought, prayer, or breath work can help regulate the nervous system and provide clarity. When practiced consistently, this habit becomes a kind of internal anchor, a stabilizing force that helps people remain grounded no matter what external circumstances may bring. From a clinical and practical standpoint, I often recommend older adults start small. There's no need for lengthy journaling or elaborate routines. Simply naming 3 things you're grateful for each morning, or taking a few minutes before bed to reflect on what felt good in the day, can have measurable benefits for emotional health. Ultimately, gratitude and reflection are not just personal habits, they're protective tools. They can shield the aging mind and heart from the slow creep of despair and help foster resilience, purpose, and a deep sense of inner peace, even in the quietest chapters of life. Number 6. Find a way to help others. Did you know that older adults who regularly volunteer experience lower rates of depression, better physical health, and even longer life expectancy? That's not just a feel-good claim. It's supported by multiple studies, including findings from the Corporation for National and Community Service, which show a strong link between purposeful activity and overall well-being in later life. From an expert's perspective, one of the most powerful and often overlooked remedies for loneliness is giving to others. When someone feels isolated, the instinct is usually to retreat further inward. It's human nature to focus on our own emptiness when we feel disconnected. But here's the surprising truth. Turning your attention outward, toward kindness, toward service, toward helping another person, can be one of the fastest and most healing ways to reclaim joy and purpose. Giving doesn't need to be a grand gesture. In fact, the most effective form of giving is often small, consistent, and personal. A warm check-in call to a neighbor, a handwritten letter to a grandchild, sharing wisdom with someone younger who's struggling through something you once faced. These actions create connection. They remind us that we still matter. The risk of prolonged loneliness isn't just emotional. Chronic social isolation has been linked to higher risks of cognitive decline, heart disease, and even premature death. That's why I often encourage older adults who feel like their days have grown too quiet or meaningless to find just one way, however small, to be of service to others. The ripple effect of that service often brings more back to you than you expect. You don't have to be physically strong or socially outgoing to make a difference. Even those with limited mobility can participate meaningfully. Technology allows for virtual mentorship, email-based volunteerism, and online community engagement. And in-person options, like local food banks, faith-based outreach, or simply offering a friendly word in your building or neighborhood, can be just as impactful. What matters is the mindset. Shifting from asking, "What am I missing?" to, "What can I give today?" That subtle change can reignite a sense of value and dignity. Giving creates momentum. It pulls you out of isolation, reconnects you with your strengths, and reestablishes your place in the world, not as someone fading away, but as someone still full of wisdom, kindness, and light to offer. And in giving, you'll often find that you receive exactly what you needed all along: connection, joy, and the deep fulfillment of being part of something bigger than yourself. Before we go, I invite you to pause and truly reflect. Aging alone does not have to mean living in silence or sadness. It's the daily choices, those quiet, intentional acts that shape whether you feel isolated or at peace. Whether it's starting your morning with a simple routine, keeping your body moving, engaging in a heartfelt conversation, stimulating your mind, practicing gratitude, or finding small ways to help others, these are more than habits. They are lifelines to joy, purpose, and connection. You may not be able to control every circumstance in life, but you have the power to choose how you respond. And when you choose to live each day with presence, care, and curiosity, you'll be amazed at how deeply fulfilling life can still be, even when you're on your own. If something in this video spoke to your heart, I'd love to hear about it. Leave a comment and share one thing you'll start doing today. And if this video helped you in any way, please like, share, and subscribe. It means more than you know. Thank you for being here. You're not alone on this journey. We're walking it together.